Hey, it's Chuck, one of the product specialists at CFS Binding Supplies. A common question we often get is, how do I use padding compound? So this video is intended to answer that question. Let's just jump right in and get started. Padded items such as notepads, business forms, prescription pads are all held together using a glue substance called padding compound. And it looks like a thicker white craft glue, but it's not quite the same. It works a little different. So in order to apply the padding compound, you'll need a padding brush, and it's also recommended that you use a padding knife to separate each pad once the compound has dried and gummed up. And chipboard is often used on the back of pads to add additional stability. Depending on your workload volume and your patience, a padding press might also be worthwhile to save you some time and some headaches. For this demo, we're using the affordable Martin Yale J1811 model padding press. Now the first step with just about any padding press is to install the stacking or backboard panel on the press. This is a flat surface where your padded edge of your sheets is actually going to stack against. Then place some scrap paper or chipboard on the bottom of the press. Next we need our sheets that are going to be stacked and padded, and we've inserted approximately every 50 sheets some chipboard for our notepads. Next, we load up our stock by jogging it in easy, manageable lifts and stacking them cleanly on top of the scrap stock or chipboard against the stacking backboard. Continue loading your paper into the press, making sure that the padding edge is pressed firmly up against the stacking backboard, and you want to ensure that your stack is flush and straight and not swaying side to side. Next step is to install the clamp plate in the press, and this is used to squeeze the paper down. The padding surface is actually squeezed into a tight brick-like surface without any airspace in it, which could cause the pads to fall apart or cause the paper to wrinkle excessively from the moisture. Continue tightening the hand screws until the padding surface is squeezed very tight, and turn the press around. Removing the stacking backboard panel exposes our padding surface, ready for us to apply the padding compound. With a padding brush, we're just going to apply a thin to medium coat. That's really all that's needed. Applying more than one coat really does nothing to further grip the sheets. If you think about it, you're just putting glue on top of glue, developing a thick, gummy skin, and really wasting your padding compound. Be sure to brush from the middle to the outside, otherwise you'll get glue on the sides as well, and that'll cause problems when you peel the sheets off. They'll actually tear at the top. After about 20 to 60 minutes, the padding compound should be dry to the touch, and you can go ahead and release the clamp on the press. Use the padding knife to ensure the clamp is separated from the stack, and then go ahead and remove it from the press. Again, using the padding knife, just ensure that the stack is loosened from the press and remove. The last step is to just slit the pads apart using the padding knife. Try to keep it completely flat and follow the contour of the paper. That way you'll avoid tearing and keep your pads nice and clean. And that's all there is to it. Padding can still be done without a padding press using the edge of a countertop or table and a very heavy object on top to clamp the pad down. Begin to prep your work area by folding a channel out of paper or cardstock. This channel forms an excess glue catcher that will stop any glue that drips down from getting on your floor or carpet. You can sharpen the fold and make them really crisp using a folding bone. When viewed from the side angle, the shape of the channel looks somewhat like a square root symbol. Place your glue catcher at the edge of your workspace and hold it in place using some scrap stock or some chipboard. Stack up your sheets to be padded in a nice flush, flat stack, and place some extra scrap stock or chipboard on the top. Once complete, add a heavy weight on top of the stack at the padding edge. The stack's padding surface should be solid like a brick. Here we're using a ridiculously large dictionary, but you could use anything heavy like bricks, a cinder block, an old PC, those phone books that stack up on your doorstep, your sumo wrestler friend, an elephant, a Sherman tank. Alright, you get the picture. Anything heavy will do. Now just apply the padding compound with the padding brush, and remember just a thin to medium coat is all that's needed, and brush from the center towards the outside. Here you can see my super clean and neat technique of applying the padding compound, and how if I was a messy painter, then the excess glue catcher could actually save our conference room floor. Make sure to preserve your padding brush by soaking it in water and then washing it. Just water is all that's needed so that the compound will not harden inside it. Once the compound's had a chance to dry, remove your ridiculously heavy weight and then use the padding knife again to slit the pads apart. Make sure you keep the knife level and follow the contour of the paper to avoid any tearing or ripping. And that's it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this brief yet magical tour of the wonderful world of padding. As always, if you have any questions on this video and the topics covered in it, or on any binding issues, feel free to contact CFS Binding Supplies at our website, or feel free to email me your questions at info@cfsbinds.com. Thanks for watching.